Kyoji Savage here. Today I'm doing a tutorial about mining. I haven't done much mining myself, so I don't have all of the fancier skills. I don't have like Tech 2 mining things. But I do have Tech 2 defense. And that is one thing about mining that you'll find. Even in high sec, there's still dangers. People like to kill what they call Care Bears. They like to kill people who, don't want to cause harm. So always be protected. Now, if you're mining an adventure, that's the beginning mining ship. And ore is the thing that you're going to want to focus on when you're mining. Now, the beginning one is the venture, and then you can move on to mining barges. And they're a lot more effective. You can make a lot more money. Obviously, they cost a lot more. Then you have all the Tech 2, really nice. You can get into some trouble. I mean, it costs 200 million, about as much as most battleships. So you need to be careful, you need to be tanked, and you need to know when there's dangers. If you go AFK a lot when you're mining, I would say it's fine if you have two screens, because you can always kind of, look over. But be wary of people like the Code. There are people in the game who like to just go and blow up people. So the first thing about mining is defense. Now when you go and you fit your ship, you're going to want to focus your rigs on defense. I don't have any on my venture. The standard is to use shield tanking, along kind of with hull tanking when you're having a damage control. But if you get into your hull, you're most likely going to die anyways. But the whole reason why a lot of miners would hull tank instead of high sec is because if you're gonna get, ganked, a bunch of people showing up, you kind of want to survive until Concord shows up and blow them up. Because once Concord arrives, they're pretty much wiped out. So that's why you want to be tanked. If you're gonna spend money on a mining ship, just make sure it survives. You don't have to worry about the NPCs in high sec, but if you group up with people and you're going into more dangerous places, like exploring or low sec or even null sec, if you have a huge mining corporation, you're always going to be tanked, and everybody's going to kind of expect you to be tanked. And if someone can find you and you're not tanked and you have any vulnerability, they're going to kill you just to get a good kill mail. So with this venture, I have a medium shield extender and an adaptive invulnerability field, and as well as a damage control. These are kind of pretty much all standard on every kind of ship that's shield tanked. And then, mining. I don't have the Tech 2, so I'm just using the ones that I bought near me. And then salvaging. If you're out there and you're mining, you might as well salvage the NPCs that you find. So now onto a more advanced mining ship, the Procurer. I again have these adaptive invulnerability fields and a medium shield extender, and I have a damage control. As you can see here, I have 30,000 effective HP points, but when I turn on just that simple damage control, it brings me all the way up to 40,000. Alright, so once I activate both of those, I now have just about 55,000 effective HP points. That is a bit overkill when it comes to NPCs, unless you're inside of low sec or null sec or even a wormhole. But like I said, inside of high sec, and if you're in any of those places, you basically want to try to survive until you can get the hell out of there, or have your friend show up, or just something. You basically you try to focus on surviving, because mining is all about being effective, and if you're dying, you basically completely ruin that. Alright, now on to doing damage. Your light drones are basically going to be your main attack. I suggest getting the skills for Tech 2, but if you don't have it right away, you can also use faction drones, but they're a lot more expensive. Might be worth it if you want that extra damage, but generally if you're just fighting NPCs, you're not going to be worrying about having that much damage. So Tech 1 or even Tech 2, once you can, they'll always just do fine. With the NPCs, you're basically just going to have these drones hovering around you constantly, and they'll attack anything that attacks you. Then you can also have a salvaging drone with you, and that'll pretty much be once all the NPCs are dead, you can just go send him to salvage things. But on this, because I'm mostly focusing on defense because I was going to go and do some more dangerous things, basically I have a bunch of ECM drones. And these ECM drones block their targeting, so if a bunch of people are showing up to just kill you before Concord gets there, you're going to want to try to align to a station, and as you're aligning to a station, you're going to send these drones on whoever's warp disrupting you. And as soon as you have the chance, you're going to basically want to warp out. Now again, this is just being more paranoid than truly necessary, but I would say it's worth having them. It's worth training the skills to use an ECM drone, because it could just, very well save your ship. And there's generally 3 types of mining. You have normal mining lasers, and then strip mining lasers for all the ore that you can get. And then there's gas mining, a bit more advanced. It can be very profitable depending on what you find. And then there's also ice mining. Again, can be very profitable, but both of those are a little bit more dangerous because you either have to explore to find it or go into some more dangerous places. Now on the Venture I just have normal mining lasers, but strip miners, if you get into the Tech 2, you basically just specialize them with crystals. And if you're going to be mining inside of more like ISEC, you can focus on the cheaper ones like Veldspar, Scordite, Pyroxers. And depending on what skill you have, or how high you have your skills, you can actually make a pretty good amount of money from that while being safe. The ship that I'm in currently is more about being tanked. Doesn't exactly make the most money compared to the 3 that you can buy. But I was going to use this inside of more dangerous places just because I wanted to give it a try. Alright, but now to show you some mining in action. Once you have your ship all nice and fitted, you're going to want to right click in the middle of space. Then you'll see all these asteroid belts, and you can search all of these for the different kind of ores that you want. There's also, I think most of the time, they have this mining tab pretty much built into the game, and you can see all the different places you can go and mine. But another thing is you can open up your scanners and your probe scanner. Now you don't have to have a probe, on your ship currently. You can also find more rare ores, and you can find gas mining and stuff. Some you don't have to discover, some you can just warp to directly, but that'll mean most likely that other people are going to be there. Alright, I've arrived in my first asteroid belt. Now there's one NPC here. Alright, I'm just going to send out my attack drones, and they'll make quick work of him. Now since I don't have much else to do, I'm also going to salvage that target. And basically you can always keep your attacking drones to constantly defend you. That's also kind of effective when you're AFK. Alright, so just like with damaging, you have an optimal range. So I'm going to do the orbit at 15 kilometers, but once I get to 15 kilometers I'm just basically going to stop my ship. And you can start mining anytime as long as you're in range. See, with strip mining, it's a bit slower per run, but that's kind of why a lot of people just go AFK or even have a second character. But if you have 2 screens, it's really easy to watch a show or browse 9gag or something like that. Now if somebody attacks me, I have ECM drones, and like I said before, with about focusing on defense and having these, if you're a bit paranoid, basically you're gonna disrupt them while you're aligning to a station, and if you get lucky and you do disrupt one of them, that's preventing you from leaving. But if they do, it could be a lucky break and you could just get away. But you basically want to make sure that you're aligning to a station, and as soon as you can warp out, you're just constantly clicking it. to get away. Alright, I've almost completed my first run. I think it looks pretty nice the way it's zapping that. You can see I have quite a large ore hold bay, and I've mined about 10,000 my first run, and it has an estimated price of 200,000. So pretty easy. Later on, especially when you use the crystals, very effective way to make money, and generally safer than most of the other ways. And if you get inside of groups and you get all the bonuses from groups, you can start making a lot of money, working together, and then you guys can even go and set up something more dangerous, make it a bit more fun to mine. Another thing with these ECM drones, basically once you block their targeting, you're basically just going to want to warp out as soon as you can, so most likely you're going to leave them behind. Don't worry about a bunch of cheap ECM drones. Your ship is more valuable than trying to get them back in your drone bay. Alright, so now that you've mined your ore, you can either sell it as it is, or you can reprocess it. And again, you can have skills that improves your reprocessing rates, and you can focus it on certain things like Veldspar. So if you completely focus on something like Veldspar and you're staying inside a high sec, you can actually start to make a pretty good amount of money. And I showed you the effective HP of my procurer, and you can see it's a great deal larger than my venture. The one thing good about the venture is that it's pretty cheap, and you can see even just some of the little mining that I did. Basically, I got the entire worth of the ship. Not the mods, but the ship is only worth about 200,000, and not even close to having my entire ore hole filled. I already have that. But when I activate my adaptive invulnerability field, it does bring my effective HP to a little over 3,000. But the really great thing about this ship is that when you want to warp somewhere, you can warp quickly.
Warp drive active.
Basically turns around in an instant, builds up that speed quick. So if somebody shows up, and if you're paying attention, you can basically warp out right away. And it has 2 little hobgoblins, and your 2 hobgoblins can handle just about any NPC inside a high sec. Now one thing nice about the venture, and if you want to kind of go on an adventure, you can basically go and explore, and you can do some ice mining or gas mining. You have to train up the skills for that, obviously, but it could make it a bit more fun and a bit more, worthwhile money-wise.
Warp drive active.
Now, even though this is generally a rookie ship, I have seen plenty of ventures inside of wormholes, and even low and nullsec. And that's basically because, the ship's not worth too much, so as long as you don't fit it with a bunch of crazy stuff, you can pretty much make some money and then get out. Alright, my optimal range is 11 kilometers. I'm going to scan the area, send out my drones. I'm not close enough to anything. What's your range? Alright, 20 kilometers. So I'm basically going to head towards some stuff. Maybe mine some pyroxers. But again, on this mining, you can see all the different asteroids that are here. And depending on what you want to mine is what you're going to head towards. And then once you scan it, let's see, close enough to some of these at least. And once you scan it, you see how much is inside, and then you pick the most effective one, like this one. This concentrated Veldspar has 28,000, so you can mine away at that for a while. And if I want pyroxers, this one has, the one I clicked on. This one has the most, so I'm basically just going to start mining at that. I'm going to orbit it at 7,500. You can see, looks pretty nice. Nice intense blue lasers. Mining on that. Once you start orbiting it, I think it looks a lot nicer because you know you're mining all around it, not just on one thing. It seems the ship showed up. Oh, can't even target him. I'll let my drones worry about him. He'll eventually want to kill me. These are only Tech 1 hobgoblins, but you'll see that you'll quickly die still, regardless. And like that, he's dead. Now you can, loot the thing. I'm also going to salvage it. What is it, 5,000? Yeah. So now I'm mining, salvaging, looting. Basically, all these NPCs here will keep you somewhat entertained while you're doing all this. But the main thing is just trying to be effective, trying to get a lot of money, or as much money as you can with what you're doing. Alright, so now I've mined some of this, and you can see again, this hasn't taken me very long. I've almost made as much as the ship is worth. Now, I have Tech 2, and all of these things are, this is about 2 million. What are you worth? 600,000. All these, depending on if you're Tech 1 or Tech 2, will basically be how worth it is if you die. And in my experience, you are going to die in this game. I do know some people that have never died, but that's because they've always stayed inside of high sec. So if you're going to take something like this into a more dangerous place, try to make a bit quicker money or even more exciting. If you take a venture, you can go there, test your luck, blow up, but still not be like broke afterwards. And in my opinion, taking risk inside this game is kind of the main point of the fun. Because you can lose things, it makes it worth it to, go that extra step and make a little bit more money, and also kind of make it more worthwhile if you live. So, there you go. I basically made the worth of the ship while just flying around for a little bit. I'm gonna stop mining, call my drones, go back to where my stuff is, and dock. You'll see how quickly this ship can just turn, and it's gone. So if somebody shows up and they can basically target you before that, they've planned it a little too well. But again, if you're not paying attention while you're mining, and someone shows up, kills you real quick, it's kind of your own fault. Alright, I think I've covered almost all of the basics, everything you need to know. Defense is the main thing that I'm trying to point out. Mining is pretty much straightforward. You kill the NPCs in the area, or the rats, and you mine. Once you point your laser at it and you're in your range, it's effective. You can also take the more dangerous side, go to more dangerous places, get inside of, larger corporations. Because some of these corporations that dedicate themselves to mining, they make a lot of money. And they do it effectively. And they also have, defenses set up. Alright, thank you guys for watching. I hope you start making some money mining, or check out some of my other EVE tutorials, and I'll see you next time.